And what went through your minds when you heard the explosions outside of the medical tent?
At that moment, I was treating a soldier who had, two soldiers had walked the entire marathon for 8 hours, so that's why they were finishing there at the end. And when it first went off, everyone was just kind of confused, as to what had happened. There were whisperings in the tent room, and then about 10 seconds later, when the second bomb went off, both the soldiers looked at each other, and in that moment I knew that these were both explosions and possibly bombs or whatnot. So, there's a state of shock initially, and then, just kind of fear and confusion, I think, set in.
Did you feel endangered for your life at all in this?
I'm the type of person that I guess I'm always weary of those types of situations, so I did. Yeah, I was scared. I actually ran out of the tent and called my wife at that time.
What type of injuries did you see coming into the medical tent after the explosions?
After I had placed the call and was initially ready to leave the scene, when I entered the tent, the very first casualty, I guess, that I saw had an open fracture in which you could see the bones of his leg exposed. Part of his face was impacted severely from the bomb, and the entire right side of his body was severely injured. Following that patient, the very first person that I attended to was bleeding profusely from an injury in her leg, and then just a whole host of different injuries and trauma were presented to us through the course of the next hour.
And did you have enough supplies to accommodate the people that were coming in?
For this year's marathon, I really feel that they had prepared due to some of the events that had taken place the year before with heat exhaustion and whatnot. They had a very hot race in 2012, so I felt like they were stocked as far as superficial injuries and whatnot, but nothing could prepare for what happened that afternoon. Many of the patients with severe leg injuries were just treated with tourniquets out of their clothes, whatever we could find at our disposal.
And how has this tragedy affected your life?
I think I'm still going through the process of realizing what occurred, and I think I'll see how it affected me throughout my life. Immediately, about a month later, I just try to be more grateful, more caring. I try to be thankful for every day that I'm here on this planet, and if nothing else, I believe it gives me perspective. That life is fragile, and not to take it for granted.
Do you have any flashbacks or nightmares of that day?
Initially, yes. For about the first week to 2 weeks. I live in Center City, Philadelphia, and any siren I heard, I was back there in Boston. The first morning afterwards, I could still smell gunpowder in my hair. I wrote a piece just in my journal, and then it's been published several times. It kind of explains, my thought process and whatnot. But the next morning, I just broke down in the shower, and the next couple of days, every time just the smell of powder or even car exhaust, things like that, were very traumatic following the event. I feel now that, I've begun to move on since then, but.
I can imagine that this brought the Sports Medicine Club closer together now. A tighter relationship with each other.
Yeah,
after experiencing this.
Definitely the 10 of us who were there, most of us were fourth years on the trip. There were a few third years as well. So we've all been in school together for at least 3 years, and whether we knew each other at different levels, but now we're definitely bonded for the rest of our lives due to this event and getting through it together, both before and after.